It's the Brad and John Show.
The Brad and John Show. This is C Block, the Charlie Block, and today's date is the 26th of March. It is a Wednesday, and like I said, the C Block, which means we start about 7:40. Okay, John, we left our last segment there talking about Diane Rehm, R-E-H-M, okay? She was born in 1936. She's 88, and you laughed at the fact there's a picture of her. It says Rehm in 2019, which would have meant she would have been, that's 6 years ago, she would have been, what, 82? Very attractive looking lady for 82 years old, I'm telling you. And John's going like...
Thank you for that, Brad. The last time someone said I looked attractive, they ended up knocking the cobwebs off my thighs.
I'm not going to touch that.
I have dust bunnies in my maiden forms.
Okay. I talked about this last week, and we've got a lot of stuff to cover in this C Block. I talked about this last week about the Al Gore TED Talks. And the one I found was, it says 18 years ago. And the thing you have to be careful with the TED Talks, with the TED Talks, anything on YouTube, you don't know if that is exactly how long or when that occurred, because sometimes these things are uploaded years later. Okay, so let's say it was 18 years ago, which would have put it 2015, would have been about 2007 or so. Was that, if it was uploaded pretty much after he gave the talk, it would have been about 2007. So I don't think this was his original TED Talk. I think this was another TED Talk. First off, he's on this weird stage where it looks like everybody forgot to put away all their junk. There's junk laying on the stage. I mean, there's literally junk laying on the stage. Like, I don't know if they did this on purpose. It looks like old pieces of equipment and stuff like that, sound equipment, stuff like that. It's just sort of weird. He starts off his talk by complaining about how bad it is to now fly commercial and having to go through TSA screening. I'm thinking to myself, okay, do I feel sorry for him? No, I don't, because 99.8% of the general population has the same thing when they fly, right? John, do you ever not have to go through TSA, or maybe you've got, the pre-screen or the older stuff? I mean, when you fly, don't you have to go through screening?
I gotta go with the moms managing stuff and the grandpas shuffling through. Yeah, that's what real people deal with when they go on work trips or vacation.
Okay, so he talks about 2 or 3 minutes, and he actually makes these gestures, like he holds his hands up in the air like he's being wanded and stuff like that. I'm going like, oh, poor baby. He's got to fly commercial like the rest of us. And then he talks about going to some summit or something like that, someplace down in South America. And he says, I flew down there on a G5. Okay, John, do you know what a G5 is?
Yeah, it's a very expensive plane, best known for making cameos in popular rap songs.
Exactly.
In my G5, yeah, I'm leaving. Go ahead.
It's a Gulfstream G5, okay? The most polluting vehicle on the face of the earth is a corporate jet, because of the fact that if you figure out, per passenger mile, the stuff it emits into the atmosphere, it's the most polluting thing you can do. And he brags about, well, we flew down on a G5 and we flew back. I had to stop he mentioned some island. We had to stop in so-and-so to refuel. And I'm going like, okay, here's the climate dude who is essentially saying, you need to drive a Prius. You need to, not have air conditioning in your house. You need to, not have a gas furnace anymore. You shouldn't have a gas stove, but yet he can fly around the world on his G5. I'm thinking, is this the most hypocritical thing in the world? This is my problem with the environmentalists, and I talk about it all the time. I'm not trying to make it about me. People make fun of me because they think, oh, you're not an environmental person. I got recycling bins here at the station. I was just a couple weeks ago. I made $20. I went down to my place in Valley Park. I recycled a big bag of aluminum cans. I had a bunch of batteries, which were some UPS we have at the station. I rebuilt a lot of UPSs, and I had a couple car batteries. I made $20. I mean, don't tell me I'm not an environmental conscious person. It just, and the whole thing, I'm going to pull some quotes from this, some audio quotes from this, because it was just like, and the audience is just eating it up. Oh, Al, you're wonderful. And I'm thinking to myself, what a bunch of hypocrites. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And I think that that's the crux of liberal democracy is do as I say, not as I do.
Okay.
And like the little annoying girl that used to do the how dare you? The girl that looked like she was
Greta Thunberg.
autistic, whatever her name was.
Right, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, like I mean, how much would she travel and burn fossil fuels?
But that's my whole point. And when they have these climate summits, they always talk about the fact that the airport always has problems. They don't have enough tarmac for all the corporate jets. It's like, okay, so these people can't fly commercial. Remember the reporter that asked Lurch about when he won some award. They asked Lurch about who I'm talking about when I say Lurch, right?
Yeah, who was that? Was that the man that dresses as a woman?
No, Lurch is John Kerry. They call the nickname for him is Lurch.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right.
Because he sort of looks like Lurch from the Addams Family. Okay, and one reporter asked him, and he very snippily replied, "Well, how do you think I'm supposed to get around?" If you remember, when I gotta find this quote as well too, a reporter asked Bernie Sanders, Mr. Socialism, Mr. We need the environment. I can't do it. Can you do a Bernie Sanders voice? Can you do that one?
No, I don't. I max out at Diane Rehm. I can't do Bernie.
Okay, he's asked at a press conference by a reporter if he's that concerned about the environment, why does he jet around the country? And his response is something, what am I supposed to do, walk? Of course, you're special. You can fly around the country and stuff like that. Okay, changing topics. Jasmine Crockett. Okay, Jasmine Crockett, we played a couple of her bits here on the air. Jasmine Crockett, over the weekend, referred to, and she's a black representative from Texas, and she referred to Governor Abbott as Governor Hot Wheels. Okay, did you hear this thing?
I did, yeah, because he happens to be handicapped, right?
Right, he's in a wheelchair. And do you know the bizarre story of how he became handicapped? Have you ever heard this bizarre story?
I don't know that.
He was in law school. I believe he was 25 or 26, and he was out jogging, and he was jogging down a street on a sidewalk, and a tree limb fell out of a tree, just snapped off, and by incredible coincidence, he was running under the tree at that exact moment. The tree limb came and hit him, and it broke his back, and he's essentially paralyzed from the waist down. Is that bizarre or what? He's 26 years old.
Yeah, it is, and so she had like something catchy. She called him Hot Wheels, Hot Mess. How did that go, Brad?
She referred to him as Governor Hot Wheels, okay? Governor Hot Wheels, okay? So, and the interesting thing about it is, do you know the background of Jasmine Crockett? Do you know the whole story with her?
No, like she comes from money, but she puts on this fake affected Ebonics accent, right?
Well, you don't know that she was born here in St. Louis. Did you know this?
Oh, no. Now, is that a punchline?
No. Born here in St. Louis. And get this. Here, I'll read this from Wikipedia. Crockett was born in St. Louis, Missouri to parents Pastor Joseph and Gwen Crockett. She attended Mary Institute Country Day School and Rosetta Kane, an all-girls Catholic high school. Then she wrote...
No, she went to MICDS.
Yes, she went to MICDS and Rosetta Kane. She's a local girl. She grew up here in St. Louis.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I heard that she went to private school, but I had no idea she had a St. Louis connection.
Yes.
Anybody who's listening outside of the St. Louis area, you don't get into MICDS unless you have a ton of money. Like it's almost like, I don't know, like I don't know the clergy system exactly. I wouldn't put it up there with like a John Burroughs or a Priory, but it's a really good school.
Well, there used to be two separate schools. It was Mary Institute, which was the girls' school, and
then Country Day,
which was the boys' school, correct? Wasn't that the way it was? And that's merged.
Exactly right. And then they united and became MICDS.
MICDS. And Rosetta Kane, that's another very high-profile Catholic high school, correct?
That's correct.
I don't know where she graduated from, but she was born here in St. Louis. And if you know her, she talks very black, like she's from the ghetto. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't mean to. Somebody's going to say, "I can't believe you said that." Isn't that the way she talks?
Yeah, and I mean, she has an affectation where she's attempting to be. And here's what I think about when I hear her, she's playing a role. So, like, if she were to call her bank because she's disputing a transaction, she wouldn't use that fake accent and that fake tone. She would talk in her real voice. But when she's in front of the cameras, she's playing a role.
Well, it's like when we had Obama, when he was talking to, a normal crowd, he would talk in a normal tone of voice. But when he's talking to a black crowd, he'd go into his black voice, right?
Yeah, and we all do a little bit of code switching. Like, you're not going to talk, well, and maybe you're different, Brad. But like, if you were saying hi to guys on a construction site, you might not, make sure to end every sentence without a preposition like you would if you were sitting across from a banker trying to get a loan. Maybe you talk exactly the same. So, I mean, most of us do a little bit of code switching, but for Crockett, it's so she knows that she should use verbs in a sentence, but she won't. She'll be like, he wrong. He wrong for that.
Right.
When she knows you say he's wrong for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But she speaks in that dialect because she wants TikTok views and she wants Instagram views.
John, I hate to disagree with you. When I go talk to my banker, I say, hey, I want to buy another radio station so I can put magical airwaves through the ionosphere. And their ears will perk up and their hair will stand on end and their cars will drive better because my radio station's on the air. No wonder I haven't got any loans. Maybe I need to stop doing that, right? Okay.
I know. Well, and you speak in tongues, too, because you're trying to do the Pentecostal answer to Caleb. That's
Right.
part of your gimmick there.
Right,
Well, let's get back to Jasmine Crockett.
Okay.
How old of a woman is she?
She is 41. Here, let me look this. She was born in where is it here? She's 43. She was born in March. Matter of fact, her birthday's coming up, March 29th. She was born March 29, 1981. So she'd be 44. On Friday? Is that right? Friday? No, she'd be on Saturday.
Yeah. So
on Saturday.
I mean, I'm surprised that we haven't seen a heroic piece like from St. Louis Public Radio that would be like, a local girl has done so well. She came from the hard scrabble existence that is MICDS.
Right.
Sometimes they'd come in on Monday and there would be dust on their polo equipment. But that didn't stop Jasmine from becoming a congresswoman.
Isn't where the school isn't that Ladue or is that Creve Coeur where that's at? I think that's still...
I think it's technically Creve Coeur because it's on, for folks who are in St. Louis, unless I'm mistaken, Brad, it's if you take Lindbergh north and then you make a right on, would that be Ladue Road? Yeah, it would be Ladue Road. Isn't it around Ladue and Lindbergh roads?
Yeah. It's because when you go up in Lindbergh, I think the back side of the school is right there on Lindbergh, if I'm not mistaken.
Between Warson and Lindbergh, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Okay, so the bizarre part of this is Jesse Kelly, who is a talk show host on The Patriot. Interesting. I'm driving back from working at the transmitter last night, and John's saying, "Do you always work at the transmitter?" Well, I've got some big news coming up here, and I can't announce it till Monday, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. He said, and I thought this was interesting. He said everybody is saying after she called Governor Hot Wheels, made fun of the governor of Texas because she's a rep from Texas. He said we need to fund her reelection every year because she does more for the Republican Party than most Republicans do for the Republican Party because of the fact that when she goes on these crazy tirades and she talks like she talks and she makes fun of a guy in a wheelchair who got, injured due to no fault of his own, that people go, okay, that's one of the rising stars of the Democratic Party. I need to vote Republican. What do you think of that, John?
Absolutely. I agree with Jesse totally there. And you think of what it could do for every week she puts out a soundbite that you could use if you're the House Republican Campaign Committee, that you could use in an email. Can you believe and by the way, Governor Hot Wheels, I think that's hilarious.
But see, the interesting thing is, once again, I'm not saying that I'm the smartest guy in the world because I'm not. I'm one of the dumbest guys in the world. But if I was in his position this morning, I would have come out with a Hot Wheels shirt on, and I would have come out with Hot Wheels cars on the arms of my wheelchair and saying, you know what? I am Governor Hot Wheels because I move quick. I get things done. I don't let, the grass grow underneath my wheelchair. Even though with my disabilities, I'm still working to make Texas the best state in the country. We're the most favorable state to start your business in. We have no taxes in Texas. So Jasmine Crockett can say what all she wants about me, but you know what? I get things done. And even with the disability, I'm still kicking butt. You know what I'm saying? And
I would encourage, if I was him, I would have, when people come to my rallies and my campaign events, I would encourage kids to bring their Hot Wheels with them. I would make sure we had an area in back with a bunch of tables where girls and boys can set up their Hot Wheel tracks, and I would make it my thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. Embrace it, because of the fact that makes her look, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, because she's thrown out something that he's going to take and champion the cause because of the fact that she was making fun of him, and he's going to turn, what's the old thing? He's going to take lemons and make it into lemonade, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we didn't get to talk about KDHX, which I think is very sad. Boy, that bothers me. You brought that up this morning. I'm going to stew about that all day now, because of the fact that, and I hate to say I was right, but damn, was I right or what, huh?
You were on top of it from the very beginning, Brad. You called it, and I saw the headline today. You got to go read it today, and you can always find. I don't have a link to it because it's not about Missouri politics, but I'm sure St. Louis Public Radio covered it as well. So I think you can find it there.
I'll look at it. Say goodbye, John.
See you guys tomorrow.